Hello, hello. I hope you're doing great today. If this is your first time to this channel, I am Leah. If it's your second, third, or fourth time to this channel, I'm Leah. I'm not going to gaslight you and say that I'm some other person. Today, we are talking about gaslighting, but on this channel, we talk about all sorts of things. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting online or elsewhere, I am an acting teacher, personal development coach. I work with artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, moms, dads, single people, all sorts of different types of people. And we talk about emotional intelligence. We talk about how to find your life purpose and also how to avoid and navigate some of life's booby traps. And I don't mean these kind of boobies. I mean the booby traps out in the world, such as narcissists and people who just want to take you down, because that's no bueno and it doesn't help you to succeed in life. And when you succeed in life, it helps everybody because energetically, we are all connected. So today, let's get to the topic. Whether you watch this right now or some other time, because there's only right now anyways. Okay, so I took a few notes so that I try to stay on topic, which is the topic of gaslighting. First of all, where did gaslighting come from? What is this term? You might have heard it before. Let me know in the comments if you have heard this term gaslighting before. Gaslighting is a term that was coined after actually a play. And go figure, I'm an acting teacher, so see the connections here? So the play was about this man who would gaslight his wife. And how did he do that? How did this term come about? You might have known this before. It's because he would turn down the gas in the lights and she would start thinking she was going crazy because she said, "Did you turn the lights down? The lights seem dim." And he'd say, "No, what? The lights are fine. What are you talking about?" So that's how the term came about. And then there was a movie in 1944, and that is where the term gaslighting came from. Narcissists have come and run with this thing because that's exactly what they do. They love to gaslight. How do you know if you're being gaslit? Well, when you start doubting your own perceptions, when you start doubting your own real life experiences, that could be a sign that you're being gaslit. I'm going to give you some examples. So, like the play, Gaslight, maybe it's something as simple as that. You're like, "What did the lights turn down, or is something being messed with here?" And the other person's like, "No, it's fine. What's wrong? You're just going crazy," right? So that could be with anything. Say you're driving, hi, welcome. Say you're driving a car and you're sharing it with somebody and the gas is empty, but you just filled it up yesterday. And you're like, "Wait, did you use up all the gas in the car and forget to fill it up?" And they're like, no. And you're like, "What? It was full yesterday." They're like, "No, it wasn't. It wasn't full yesterday." So that's just one minuscule example, right? Let me know if you have ever, hello, welcome, been gaslit. And if anybody shows up on this live who is looking for OnlyFans, I'm not on OnlyFans. So you're at the wrong party. We're getting all sorts of comments from OnlyFans. And I know the narcissists love to turn up for these because it's fun for them. It's game. It's a big sport game. That's another example of being gaslit. A lot of times narcissists say the only reason that you would ever attract a narcissist is if you're a narcissist. Water only rises to its own level. All these different little gaslighty terms. That's not true. If you're living and breathing in the world, you're going to experience narcissists because they're everywhere. Narcissism on the world stage is getting more and more popular right now. And this is probably not going to gain any fans. Maybe it will, but it's just the truth. it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the States and you're on the left, or you're on the right, or you're in the middle, you're an independent, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you hate everybody, whatever it is. I'm not going to talk party lines here. I'm going to discuss behavior, okay? Behavior. Did anybody see the debate? No, nobody saw the debate. Nobody saw the presidential debate, right? Well, I do believe that besides the people that come on here to just for game sport and want to attack me, the people who really are interested, actually have emotional intelligence. So I'm going to speak to you. I'm sure you probably saw the debate, right? So many people, whether they love Biden or hate Biden or whatever Biden, a lot of people were like, I can't believe it. I can't believe he looked like he didn't know what was going on. Can you believe it? He's been sharp as a tack this whole time. Come on, people. Even if you love Biden, you can admit that he's not been sharp as a tack. My stepmom has dementia right now, and God bless her. I love her, but she's not sharp as a tack, okay? She has moments of lucid moments, but she's not totally there. So the people who were totally shocked, either they were completely gaslit this whole time and didn't realize that maybe he's not on his A game, or they're part of the committee gaslighting. Okay, I don't care where you stand on the aisle. That's just fact, right? That is just fact. Hello, you've been gaslit. I'm sorry. It's awful. It's really terrible. And please share if you feel like it, what some stories are. I am going off some notes here so that I can keep track of some of the examples of being gaslit. So I'll give you some real life examples from my life. I had cancer in 2010. That's one of the reasons why I opened up my business. It's one of the reasons why I want to help people, because I faced my mortality. And often when you face your mortality, you don't have to have a life-threatening disease to do that, by the way. You can have a spiritual awakening without facing your mortality. But I faced my mortality, and that's why I decided I wanted to give back, that there was no better time than right now. And that was in 2010, opened my business in 2013, and here we are. Well, going through cancer is not easy. And that was a real life experience that I had, and fighting with the insurance companies and all of the things. It was a disaster. It was so horrifying. Okay. Well, I used to have a narky-narc friend, believe it or not. I had a narcissist friend, and she, after learning about all this years later, and I was telling her about how insurance didn't cover much of my cancer surgery or anything like that. And I said I had to fight with the insurance companies and I had to do all these things. And she just said, no, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. Well, it did happen. It did happen. She said, no, you must have done something wrong. I said, no, I was following all of the protocol. What had happened one time when I went in and got a big surgery in my back, having some melanoma removed, the insurance said that they were going to cover it. And then, of course, I get a bill for $25,000. Insurance ended up paying $500 of that. It was absolute insanity. And my friend, instead of, asking me questions, or I use a friend term loosely, by the way, because now looking back, that's really not a friendly thing when you're sharing something about this extreme circumstance you were in and the person decides to gaslight you. So she said, no, didn't happen. Didn't happen. What didn't happen? My cancer didn't happen, or me having to pay out of pocket didn't happen. What exactly didn't happen? And she was just very defensive and gaslighting me for absolutely no reason. You kind of look like Idina. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to need bifocals because I can't see that. Idina Medell, is that what it says? Well, I'll take it as a compliment. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't know the resemblance. Anyhow, okay. Another example of gaslighting is so then when you start doubting your own reality, if you're really clear and you're very confident in your beliefs and your experiences and what happened, it's not going to happen. But it's easy to happen when you care and love for the person and you respect them. Another wild example of gaslighting was a narcissist I was dating once. Don't be jealous. I know I've had a lot of experience with narcissism. A guy I was dating one time, I have hazel blue green eyes, right? Like hazel means that it switches depending upon the lighting and the color of shirt I'm wearing, my backdrop, my lights will change. You'll see in videos that I do. Sometimes they're extremely blue. Sometimes they look more green. It just really depends on, like I said, the lighting and all that. And I was telling that to him and he said, no, your eyes aren't blue and your eyes aren't green. They are gray. And it was so funny because one time somebody had mentioned on my Facebook, they're like, oh, you have such pretty hazel eyes. And he had to comment below, no, they're gray. So he even gaslit somebody else. It's just hysterical. It's like stupid stuff. But see, they start with small stuff. So then when the bigger issues come in, you doubt that as well. This same person left a burning cigarette butt on my balcony, on a wooden balcony, okay? And when I caught that he did that, I said, please don't leave a burning cigarette on my balcony, on the wood. You know, you could have blown up our whole house. You could have caught the house on fire. And you know what he said? He said, no. He said, cigarettes don't catch anything on fire. Why don't you tell that to the fire department, who has put out many fires because of houses that have burned down, because of people falling asleep and their cigarette butt catching the whole damn place on fire? What are you talking about? That's insanity. My girlfriend tells me I gaslight all the time. Can you give me an example? Thank you about the cancer. I'm actually totally 100% cancer free now, thank God. So wear sunscreen. That's another thing that people gaslight about. Oh, sunscreen doesn't work. Sunscreen doesn't work. Yes, it does. It does, and it helps you. Take it from me. I became a sexy shade of melanoma, and thank God I'm still alive. I'm okay, but now most of the time I'm pretty damn white. I'm a whitey because I don't want to be cancer ridden. And did you know, by the way, that's another thing, a misconception about melanoma is that they think only white people can get it. Not true. Did you know how Bob Marley died? Melanoma. Yes, indeed. He was in between his toes, someplace that you normally would not look, right, for something like that. Okay. So check all your moles, do the mole patrol. My girlfriend tells me I gaslight all the time. I wish that you would give me an example. Tell me an example about how you gaslight or how your girlfriend tells you gaslight, because that could be helpful. Okay, that's all that. All right, so yes, that didn't happen. I'm looking at my notes, trying to see that's not what you saw. Okay, so anytime somebody says like, that's not what you saw, that's not what happened, and it was your experience, you were there. This is how criminals can get away with things, because they're like, no, that didn't happen. What you saw is incorrect. You could be looking at it as plain as day, and they want you to doubt your own reality. So be really, really careful of that. On the world stage, we see this all the time. If you ask questions about something that somebody else who is a narcissist disagrees with, they don't like that. They don't want dialogue. They don't want you to ask questions. So say, for instance, during the whole, the whole vid thing that we went through, I can't even say that word on YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about. A few years ago when the world shut down, that thing. Well, if you asked any questions, see, I asked questions during this time. I have a million allergies, all sorts of things, so I understand my own body. When I got the melanoma removed, by the way, that was another example of possible gaslighting. You tell me what you think about this. But when I went into my doctor, I had a mole on my back. I don't actually think she did this on purpose, but if I didn't trust my instincts, I wouldn't be alive, because here's why. I had a mole on my back. I didn't like the way that it looked aesthetically, and I went to my dermatologist and I wanted her to remove it. You know what she said? She said, it doesn't look cancerous. I can't remove it because insurance won't cover it. Insurance won't cover it if I don't say that it looks cancerous, and I don't think it does, is what she said. And I said, I will pay out of pocket because my instincts tell me that it's not good, and so please just go ahead and remove it. She did. The next day she called me profusely apologizing because I think she was scared she'd be sued. And she said, I will never do that again. The mole was filled with melanoma. I'm so sorry. And at the time I lived in California, thank God, because I was near some of the top oncologists in the world who had just discovered this revolutionary blue dye test that ended up saving my life. But nonetheless, I was rushed to John Wayne Cancer. And for years after that, I was in cancer treatment. I didn't have to do chemo or anything like that, thank God. But I had to do surgery after surgery, and every single month, well, for a while, every 2 weeks, and then every month. And it's very time consuming and draining emotionally, physically, and all the things. If I had trusted that doctor's medical expertise, which clearly she knows a lot more than I do. I didn't go to medical school about dermatology. So I could have just trusted her and said, okay, and gaslit myself, meaning not trusted my instincts and thought, it's probably fine. The medical expert said it was fine. And then I wouldn't be here today. So during the vid, I love doctors. I'm not totally anti-Western medicine or anything like that. I think that there's a good place for it. I also think that it's very important to still trust your instincts. So when I would be asking questions about the jab or this or that, some people, the gaslighting people, were like, well, then you just don't believe in science. Because I'm asking questions? Is that not scientific? Actually, scientists all ask questions. That's literally how they come to scientific studies, is by researching and experimenting and asking questions. So me asking questions doesn't mean I don't believe in science. That is bizarre. That's gaslighting. Okay, that's one example. Another example is if somebody tells you that you're something that you know you are not, because they decide that on your life, right? So has that ever happened to you where somebody tells you you're this and you're like, but I'm not that? Like, say for instance, they say you're racist and you're like, well, but I'm not. You're like, I actually have family members. I have a friend and student who her mom is white, her dad is black. And people tell her when she has opposing viewpoints to whatever the mainstream thing is, they say, well, you're racist. And she's like, I'm actually not, because I'm actually have family members and I'm black. I'm half white, half black. How am I racist? And they say, well, just because if you don't say you're racist, then you are racist. Has that happened to you? I've had that happen to me. They're like, if you don't declare you're racist, then you're racist. And just because you have friends, family, colleagues, all sorts of people that, you love and treat very kindly, that still means you're racist. That is garbage. That is garbage. That is gaslighting. That means that anything you do, your actions don't matter. And that's not true. Your actions do matter. If you're kind to people and you're accepting of people and you're not racist, then you're not racist. I mean, that's actually what's happening. But some people want to say, no, that means you are. That means you are, right? Told me so much, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Tells me so much. Oh, the girlfriend tells you so much that you're not, well, maybe she's gaslighting you. I don't know. Without more information, I don't know. Narcissists, by the way, most of them, not all of them. See, that's the other thing. A gaslighting thing is when you lump an entire group together. All men are like this, or all women are like this. All Americans are like this. No, that's gaslighting. An entire group cannot be one way. There are individuals within that group. So not all women are one way, not all men are one way. And that even includes narcissists, because each narcissist operates a little bit differently. But there are common characteristics in which all of them exercise. They all gaslight. They all defame. They all discard. They all hoover. They all love bomb in different ways. The way that they do it is going to be different, okay? But these manipulation tactics are used across the board for everybody. So I always laugh when people come on in the comments when I do a narcissist video and they're, or empathy or something like that, and they're like, oh, look at you touting empathy, but then you're shitting on all over everybody. I'm like, what? Who? What? No, I'm not. I'm talking about characteristic traits. So if the shoe fits, then you can wear it. Okay, so one of the lies that narcissists say, which is, you know, a way that they gaslight, is saying, first of all, we need to stop this, because I've seen even on some really good channels that talk about narcissism, they say, how do you know you're not a narcissist? If you wonder if you're a narcissist. That is not true. There are narcissist channels, self-aware narcissist channels, who know that they're narcissists and they're even in therapy. So this lie that a narcissist would never go to therapy, a narcissist would never question if they're a narcissist, that's not true. That's just not true. And some narcissists use that to their advantage. They're like, well, I mean, I can't be a narcissist because I asked, you know, the question if I'm a narcissist, or I'm in therapy or whatever. So that's a way they can gaslight you. So you got to be really alert. You got to be on your A game with this stuff, because they know. And plus, by the way, hello, they watch YouTube too. I mean, I get them in the trolls, in the troll section. I mean, they are watching this kind of content to see, so that they can move the marker, so that they can have a new gaslighting tactic. They're like, oh, they caught on to that. Oh, narcissists normally don't self-reflect. So I'll self-reflect so that they don't think I am one. Oh, I did ask her what I was gaslighting, but she never tells me what I did. Yeah, see, I don't think that, I mean, I don't know your girlfriend, and I'm not here to diagnose that, because I'd have to know more of the situation. I'm not here to diagnose anyone. I'm not a therapist or a doctor. But my instincts are saying that maybe if she can't be specific about it, then she doesn't even know. So she could be flipping, you know, Missy Elliott in you backwards and flip it or something, right? In reverse or something like that. Because like I said, a lot of narcissists are hip to this now. They're smart, so they know. They're like, well, you're gaslighting me, or they project it always onto you. That's their favorite thing to say. Well, then you're the narcissist. They're like that schoolyard kid that's like, you know, I'm not mean, you are. I'm not the narcissist, you are. I'm not this, you are. I know I am, but what are you? Like, they love playing that game. So they're catching on to this stuff. So maybe, I don't know for sure, but maybe she's, yeah, don't pay it any mind, you know. And the fact that you even care also says a lot, because if somebody said, you're gaslighting me, and then you ask, well, why? So that I can adjust, or what is it that I'm doing? That shows a lot of awareness and care. That doesn't show like, no, I don't care about you. So I would encourage more dialogue with that, and ask her, you know, how can you improve? How can you adjust it if you don't know exactly what you're doing? So yeah, they'll throw, I'm not saying she is a narcissist, but narcissists will throw all their stuff, all their shade onto you, because they want you to take responsibility for everything. That's another way that they gaslight, is by saying, you do this, right? They project and gaslight and alter your experience. It's like, wait, flames don't cause fire? Oh, I must have been, I don't know how fire departments are in business anymore. Really? Cigarette butts don't catch things on fire? That's amazing. Really? My eye color is this other color that you've decided? They want you to start guessing, second guessing yourself, because then they can pull off the big illusions. Then they can pull off the big scams. And hopefully by then, you're so dissociated from your own instincts and your own real life experiences that you don't trust yourself. And what do? You put all your trust in them. You put all of your faith in them. So then they can manipulate you, because they're like, if I want your opinion, I'll tell it to you. That's like the narcissist motto, right? Yeah, don't pay it any mind unless she gives you specific examples, because you can't shift something unless you know what it is, right? There was a narcissist I dated. I know I've dated quite a few. I've learned a lot, and that's why I'm sharing. I'm trying to open up and share about this stuff. And I didn't want to for a long time. That's another way that they can gaslight you, because they want to silence you, because you're scared of being called the narcissist. You're like, if I shine actual light on this, they're going to call me a narcissist, right? So I was dating this one guy and everything was going great. He had said that he wasn't dating anybody and he hadn't for years. Well, of course he was lying to me. One day when everything was awesome, nothing was the problem at all, he said, it feels really heavy. It's like really heavy energy, which put me in my head because I thought, well, why? What has happened? He's like, I don't know. It's really heavy energy. Well, it was heavy to him because really, I didn't realize it, but I was like a side chick and he had a girlfriend or something. And it felt heavy to him because I was like looking at him all sincerely and it bugged him. But then when I would ask him, I'm like, well, what's heavy? And he couldn't explain it. So that can put you in your head really quick because you're like, what did I do? Did I do something to make it feel heavy? I have like 500 drinks here. And if you're a caring person, you're going to wonder, what happened? What did I do? How can I fix it? So that's another way that they can gaslight you, just making you doubt your own reality. What has happened? Everything was cool and now suddenly something's heavy. Or did I do something wrong? What did I say? Sometimes they can gaslight you by getting really offended over nothing. They're like, I don't know, something's just different. And just, you're not being cool. And you're like, well, what did I do? So that I can adjust or apologize. And they're like, if you don't know, then never mind. You're like, what? I don't get it. So they play and prey upon your empathy because a lot of times an empathic person, if that's who you are, is going to want to change. It's going to want to improve. You're going to want to adjust. And they love it when you do that because they're going to constantly be moving the mark. Oops, no, you have to do this now. Oops, no, they have to do that now. I mean, it's just like with the whole mask thing. And I'm not going to judge you if you are on board with all the masks and you're on board with all that. I don't judge you. It's fine. Everybody is allowed to make their own choices. But I remember I was watching Fauci before everybody came out about the Fauci stuff because, by the way, remember I read behavior? So when everybody was on Team Fauci, I was watching his behavior and I'm like, this guy is lying. What is going on? And I don't care what politician you love. They all lie, by the way. They all lie. It's part of the job. There's not one politician in the history of the world who doesn't lie. Show me one. One. Now, we in the United States have this voting system where we have to vote for somebody, but they all lie. So whenever they say they don't lie, they lie. That's a lie. No matter what side of what, they lie. So I was watching, and a lot of times for our safety, I had a friend who was a federal agent protecting the Pentagon, and she said, Leah, you guys are being protected so much you have no idea. Of course they have to lie to you. If the public knew what was going on all the time, people would be like batshit crazy. They wouldn't be able to handle it. So sometimes the lying is helpful, right? Like if you're a parent, you've lied to your kids in a good way. Like I'm not going to terrify my daughter and be like, yes, somebody could rob us right now in this moment. Like that could be true. And there are bad people in the world, but I'm not going to terrify her, right? So you lie a little bit and you're like, we're safe. Like if you're not safe sometimes, to protect them. I just lost my train of thought with the last point that I was making. Oh, Fauci. So I was watching him and I thought, he's lying. He's lying. And whether his intentions were good, bad, and different, I started catching on that he was lying just from his behavior. And he's like, no, masks don't do anything. And then the next minute it was, you better wear a mask. And now he's come back to saying, no, I never said masks. What? That is total gaslighting. That's crazy making. You can't do that. Well, you can because he did. But a more respectable thing to do would be to say, well, we're doing the best we can. We're learning and changing, because as we get more information, we're changing it. But a liar because they'll never really admit all of that. They'll just say, no, I never said that. Nope, didn't happen. I mean, you could have actual evidence, actual tape, yeah, actual whatever. Nobody does tape anymore. This is 1982, Leah. But you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter. Another narcissist that I knew once. Gosh, I just sound like amazing when I say all the narcissists I knew. But this guy was actually a self-aware narcissist. He proclaimed that he actually was. And he said that his girlfriend was so like in dissociation with him. He admitted this and he thought it was funny. He said this to me. He said, she's so dissociated and believes me so much that I could be cheating on her in front of her very eyes and tell her it's not happening. It's like that song. Remember that old song that's like, wasn't me. You saw me in the shower, wasn't me, or whatever that song is. That is like a total gaslighting song. I saw you. Nope, wasn't me. What? Yes, it was. All right. I'm always positive. We've been together 18 years. Well, that's good. I mean, something's working out, I hope. I hope it hasn't been just like a toxic relationship for 18 years, but if you've been together that long, hopefully it's going really good and you're happy, you know. Something must be working on some end, you know, and that's where you have to also not gaslight yourself and go, is this working for me? Is this not working for me? And be really truthful with yourself. And if something's working, then it's working for you. Sometimes people like the payoff, by the way. You know, I saw this one girl and she has a channel, whatever. I don't know her name, but she's another self-aware narcissist. Well, actually, she says she's a sociopath. And she loves narcissists. She's like, I love it. We play together and it's so fun. And they're like catnip for me and it's amazing. So, you know, there's a payoff there. They have their place in the world. I don't wish them ill will. You know, it's like, God bless them. Go play with other narkies or another sociopath and you guys are going to have a blast, right? But to the person that's just unassuming, that gets body slammed by it, that's the person that doesn't really want to be in this. But sometimes people get addicted to it because there's a payoff. Even for the empathic person, there's this high drama payoff, right? I had a therapist once tell me that a healthy relationship was going to be kind of boring for me just because I had been with so many people that were not healthy for me. That he's like, you know, there was a payoff for you because it was a little exciting. You know, you thought that the chemistry was your nerves being in a knot every single day. It's not. That's not it. You know, if you're feeling like a heart racing all the time, nervous all the time, that's not chemistry. That's your body saying this is not healthy. But you can get addicted to that adrenaline. It's very normal. So then when you get with somebody normal, healthy, it might feel a little boring. It might feel not as exciting. Around here, they made us wear masks in stores during that time. Yeah, I mean, this was another thing. My daughter, she just really didn't like it. My daughter is 7 now, and she's just always been highly intuitive, and she likes working off people. She likes reading behavior. Some people liked hiding, you know, and I get it. Some people were like, I prefer the mask, right? And she really didn't, because she was like, I can't see people. I don't get to like work with them. And she was only, you know, whatever, 4 and 5 at the time. And she felt like she couldn't breathe in it. She's a very active kid. This is a kid, she was like a sweaty baby sometimes. She's not like overweight or anything. She just overheats. Like she didn't like the swaddle. She wanted to be in her diaper all the time. This is just how she is. And so when I told one of my friends that she just didn't really enjoy wearing the mask, my daughter, I'm just explaining a real life experience, and she's like, well, then you don't believe in science. Again, with the don't believe in science thing, I'm like, what does that even have to do with my daughter not wanting to wear a mask? It's just unreal, like the level that some people went to. My dad constantly gaslights. What like, in what way? Can you give me an example? Do you guys have any questions? Are there any questions? Because I do have a hell of a ton of experience with this stuff. And then also from an acting perspective, I know some people are like, why does this girl talk about this? It's because In the entertainment world, there are a lot of narcissists. There are a lot of people who squash really amazing talents because they gaslight them. And so then this beautiful, pure spirit is now doubting themselves and trying to people please. And also because, like I said, that's a play. Gaslight is a play. So in researching plays and characters and movies, you look at human behavior. So you begin to see it's very similar to studying psychology when you're a director, when you're an actor, when you're a writer, because you're looking at humanity and you're looking at behavior. And so this is why I know so much about this stuff, not only from my own real life experiences and research, but also from just what I do by nature in looking at the human condition. How does your dad gaslight? He constantly trying to argue. If my mom doesn't do something like get her phone cord, it becomes a moment for him to walk around and act like it's over here while yelling at her. Wait, what do you mean? Let me try to see this. If my mom doesn't do something like get her phone cord, it becomes a moment for him to walk around and act like it's over here while yelling at her. I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but I kind of think I'm following, like your mom can't find something and then he's like, oh, it's over here, but he's yelling at her like, what's your problem, when meanwhile he doesn't have it or something like that. Is that what you mean? It can go big and small, I mean, it's like somebody could blow their gasket yelling at you, and then they're like, I was calm, you're just too sensitive. That's another way that they like to gaslight you. No, you're just too sensitive. You're racist. It's like, no, I just was looking for my phone cord. Sometimes when something comes way out of left field too, that is total gaslighting. Let me see, did I cover, that didn't have, oh, another one is when they say, you're the only person who thinks that. It's like, where'd you get that study? You did a study of the whole world. And the consensus is I'm the only person who thinks that. See, another gaslighting tactic is when they use blanket statements. Like I said earlier, all women do this, all men do that. Only, God bless them. In the States, there's this thing happening. Let me know where you're checking in from too. But in the United States, there's a big movement happening with, I like to call them the red pill narcissists, right? And again, not all of them are bad. There's some people in that movement probably that are good or mean well or whatever. But some of the stuff I've seen, not so bueno. So one of the things is like, no American girl is good and they're all too masculine and whatever. Well, that's gaslighting. It's like that. You got to go passport bros or whatever and go get a girl from another country. And on one hand, they'll say a woman doesn't do enough. Like they want the man for the money. Well, you got to earn money. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then when the woman does that, they say, well, now you're too masculine. It's like, what? Which one is it? Which one is it? Now, I believe in two people playing their part, and all that kind of stuff. But you can't just say a whole group, all American women are like this. That's not true. I know a lot of women who love keeping a great home, the whole trad wife thing, traditional wife. Sign me up. I'm in. That's wonderful. I would love to do it. There's a lot of women like that also have businesses or do different things. So you can't just blanket statement an entire group of people. It's crazy. Okay, what else? What are we saying here? Don't you love it when I get super close to the camera with my coffee? Okay, let's see. She can't get it fast enough to please him. Yeah, like what's wrong with you? Or you don't even care. You don't even care that I've lost my phone cord. You don't care. You're not even helping. That's another way to gaslight, right? When you're like frantically looking around. I keep referring to this movie that you probably saw, not the recent one because I haven't seen that one, but the old school Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder. There's so many different characters in there that have the narcissistic traits. And this one girl, Veruca Salt, she's super, or I might be getting some of the characters confused, but one of the like bratty girls, her dad has this whole factory of people trying to find the golden ticket. And she's like, they're not working fast enough. It's like they don't even care, Dad. It's like they don't even care. That is complete gaslighting. It's like they're clearly working extremely hard to find her the golden ticket. And she's like, they don't care about me. It's like they don't want me to win. That's gaslighting, 100%. I think she's bipolar. Wait, hold on, let me see. He does this with everything, even with our neighbor. He tries to bring me into his control freak moments, getting me to move his vehicle to block them from parking on our side of the street. Oh my gosh, yeah. Years ago, I tried parenting with my ex. Dad sat there bullying and gaslighting me. Yeah, I'm so sorry. That is so tough. I think he's bipolar. I think a lot of narcissists are bipolar, you know, because they just switch. It's like one Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. One moment they're like your best friend, your spouse, your lover, whatever. And the next minute they're gaslighting you and saying, you know, you did this when you didn't, or whatever it is. So then that's how people pleasing happens. It's not that you're a pushover if you've become a people pleaser, an empathic person. It's because you care. That's another way that they gaslight, is by being like, you're just too sensitive, or it's either you don't care or you care too much. You know, they'll say, oh, that's another one, toxic positivity, right? I got that on one of my videos. They're like, toxic positivity for the win. By the way, there's no such thing. It's either positive or it isn't. There's no such thing as toxic positivity. I think a narcissist came up with that. A narcissist who's gaslighting you will be fake positive. Yeah, like, oh, don't worry about it, and your feelings don't matter, and all that stuff. But when you're being genuinely positive and caring, it's not toxic. But they're, you know, they want you to be in this negative place. I had that old narky friend say the same thing to me. She's like, you're so positive all the time. You're just too nice. Because they want you to be a biatch. I'm like, look, I actually have some spiciness to me. I'm not perfect. But they want to like prod you into being a jerk. Like they like that. Because then they can gaslight you when you have reactive abuse and say, see, you're so reactionary, right? Yeah, our neighbor's really nice. Aw, that's good. See, there's good people in the world. And that's exactly how he is. I take it when it's a mirror, he can call a police officer, have a homicide, or use suicide moment. We can't call for help. What do you mean? Let me see. Take when I was a minor. He can as a, I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but they're very, very dramatic. I will say that. They're very dramatic. Another way they gaslight you is by saying, you don't care. You don't care. You know, you don't care enough. You're not doing enough. And that's how the people pleasing starts, because you try to do more, because you do care. And then they'll gaslight you and flip it around and say, you care too much. You're too nice. Doesn't matter what you do. When somebody's gaslighting you, they're always going to move the mark. That's how you start thinking you're going crazy. Because when you feel like nothing you do is right, that is correct. Nothing you do is right. When somebody's gaslighting you, they're after full control. That's it. They're after control. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about your feelings. They want you to get all of your feeling off of them. That's why their mood is more important than yours. That's how you begin to dissociate from yourself and your needs to try to please them. And the gaslighting, it's horrible. Oh, he used to be a police officer, and that's exactly what he says. And it's sad, you know, I mean, because there's a lot of great police officers. See, that was a gaslighting tactic, that all police are bad. No, they're not. Are there bad police officers? Of course. There's bad people in every single field. There's not one single field on the planet that there aren't some bad people, right? But to just completely discount all the good people is horrible. It's not true. You know, I knew an FBI agent, and he was the chief of police. He was FBI. He never in all of his years even had to use his gun. And he took down some major felons. And he never had to use his gun. He never operated in a, not that, you know, using your gun if you have to is bad, because it's part of the job, as hard as it is. But he never had to. But we don't hear a lot about those type of people. We don't hear. He had a huge success rate with people. He was big in the FBI because he had a huge confession rate. He's a really good guy. He's a really good cop. But we don't celebrate that as much. You know, in this culture, we celebrate the narcissists. We celebrate the people doing bad. We celebrate the marriages falling apart. We don't celebrate. Could you imagine a news stream that was just good news all the time? Like, oh, another person did something really nice today. Oh, somebody helped somebody in need. Oh, look at what this person did. It's like, no, you're bad. You're wrong. And if you think you are doing good, then that means you're really wrong. It's like, oh my gosh. If you're actually having positive energy, then it's toxic positivity. I mean, they will gaslight you to no end. There's no end to it. What do you say? I tried starting a business in high school, to get away. Anyway, I booked tours. It's essentially doing sales in a sense, and I booked many shows. Oh, were you answering somebody else's question? But anyway, that's great that you did that. I mean, entrepreneurs, when you build something, you're going to see all different types of characters. If you've ever built anything in your life, you're going to notice this. All different types of characters, all different types of manipulation tactics. And these people come out of the woodworks, out of, like, you would never imagine, right? Never imagine. So the gaslighting, the defaming, all that, it really goes hand in hand. And the lines get blurred sometimes because that's what they want. That's what they want. They want you to be confused. They want you to be in a state of confusion, doubting your own reality. I had a playwright once, and I used to never talk about this stuff because I thought taking the high road, that's another way they gaslight you. Take the high road and you don't talk about it, but that's what they bank on. They bank on good people not talking about this, because if you talk about it, then you're the narcissist, and that's their whole plot tactic, right? So I still teach acting, but I do it online. I now go into different theaters, but I used to have my own theater before the pandemic. And I had a playwright come in, a playwright. When I'm 8 months pregnant, running a theater, doing all the things, literally with the lights and all the stuff. And he's coming in and he says, oh, it's wonderful. I love your theater. It was a small 75-seat theater, okay, intimate space. And he loved it. He's like, I love everything about this place. It's amazing, blah, blah. And I said, we don't have major big production lights. Is that okay? That's why I love it. That's why I love it. And then he was supposed to pay me before the show, but he didn't. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm running a business. I'm 8 months pregnant. And he took advantage of that. And he's like, can I pay you later? Can I pay you later? I'm like, sure, you can pay me later. And this is also what they do and how the gaslighting works. The first 2 times he paid me, no problem. The third time, he didn't pay me at all. Didn't pay me at all. And then, can you imagine this? Then he comes back to me and just says the reason he didn't pay me is because of the lights, which he said that he loved. Then he started running around town defaming me everywhere. Well, I should have listened to another theater company that called me and warned me about him. They said, this guy didn't pay us. That's why he's coming to you. And they're like, I'm not trying to gossip. I'm trying to help you so that it doesn't happen to you. Well, because he had paid me 2 times, see, they'll do enough truths so that they can pull off the con. Every single narcissist, every single con artist tells the truth sometimes. They tell the truth sometimes. That's how they build trust with you. If you saw all the time they're just conning everybody, it wouldn't work, right? So that's how the gaslighting works. Sometimes they're nice. Sometimes they tell the truth so that when they gaslight you, you believe it. So this other theater company who I didn't know, I didn't have a relationship with them, they called me out of the goodness of their heart. They said, this guy's a bad guy. He didn't pay us. I didn't not believe them, but because I had the experience of him paying me, I actually didn't believe them. Well, actually, no, I didn't believe them, but I wasn't thinking they were bad. I didn't believe, let me put it this way. I didn't believe he would do that to me for some reason, and that's the other thing. That's how they get you, because they're like, well, I never did that to you. So you think it's not going to happen to you. And then it didn't. He stiffed me on like $5,000 when I'm 8 months pregnant. But not only that, then he started going around town and defaming me. Can you believe she didn't have this? Can you believe she didn't have that? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what he said he loved about this place. Anyway, I looked into lawyers for that, and the lawyers were infuriated by him, but they're like, Leah, this is going to cost you way more money than it's worth. For what? But they found out this guy embezzled $250,000 from a law firm. See, he was a lawyer. Narcissists and con artists know the law. If you want to know the law better than anyone, talk to a criminal. They know it. They know how to work the system. So he had embezzled $250,000 from a law firm. He had been to prison, and his scam is running around to theater companies. Who would think that? That's how you can gaslight yourself. Like, no, this is just a jolly old playwright. Like, how is he going to, do this? Like, nobody's going to be a criminal as they're doing that. Yes, that's how you gaslight yourself. His old assistant even came to me and said this is back before all this stuff about like AI. And he was coming up with photoshopped images of his old assistant doing sexual acts, totally fake, because his assistant caught on to his con. So what did this guy do? Totally defamed him. And he had told me about that. So you start unraveling and seeing who somebody really is. But you can gaslight yourself by going, no, come on, they're not going to do that. Yeah, most likely they will. Okay, so I had someone I had respect for did that years ago, threatened doing so. It's terrible. You always wanted to do theater, but how dad is and friends with got into live music. Oh, that's cool. Like live music. Love to work in a theater. Yeah, I mean, look, this is wonderful. I mean, of course, I'm always going to support and promote the theater, because it is something that has quite literally saved my life. And also you can do role playing in these situations and actually have a positive, negative reaction, if that makes sense. Because if you get gaslit and you have reactive abuse in real life, it could really have bad repercussions in your life, right? So instead you have to gray rock. You have to act like it doesn't bother you. You have to do all these things. But in acting, in theater, you can actually have those visceral reactions, and it's just good acting. It's really good acting, and also it can be healing for yourself and other people. So it's not therapy, but it's really therapeutic. If you're ever interested, I do personal development coaching, but also, like I said, I am an acting teacher. I'm a casting director. I'm a director, have a lot of experience my entire life, 510 years. Okay, that's not true. I'm not that old. But my entire life I've been in this business. And for the past 11 years I've been teaching. So if you want to get in on one of my classes, I have classes as well as personal, one-on-one coaching. So there's a lot of different places where you can plug into this stuff in a really positive way. It can be so healing, because when people see an actual example through a play, I might do that play, Gaslight, so people actually see what this looks like in real time, so they can open up and go, oh my God, there it is right there in real time. It's really fun actually to do it. So if you're ever interested in jumping in, please let me know. Yeah, sounds like Trump. Yeah, hey, look, you're entitled to your opinion. Who threatened me years ago worked with someone who never paid me. Yeah, oh my gosh, that is exactly, they love doing that, like moving the bar so they don't have to pay you. They will gaslight you to no end. I mean, it's unbelievable. Gaslighting is gaslighting and is gaslighting. And so if you are aware of it, then you can go, no, I'm being gaslit right now. This is what's happening. And not fall into that trap, right? Because they don't want you thinking and putting things together and having critical thinking. They do not want that. Now, I'm not naming, by the way, a whole group of people. I'm not saying all women do that, all men do that. I'm saying people who gaslight, they are narcissists, and they don't want you putting together the pieces. Not just narcissists gaslight, by the way. Some people just do it. So, and worse than narcissists do it. So it's very important that you stay alert, you stay aware, and you know the signs of it. You know, if somebody's telling you that your very own experiences are not what happened, that's not okay. That's not okay. Okay, so check in with that. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I would love to hear from you. I'm enjoying these lives because I like interacting with you. I think that's when I'm the best. I'm still gonna do the other videos, so please watch those too. I don't know what is going on with my YouTube channel, you guys, because I literally will watch, I will have views and then they'll drop before my eyes. So I don't know if somebody's messing with me or what is going on. I'm a one-person show here. I don't have this giant team working with me. And so the views are all valid. I don't know why sometimes they're disappearing. So I really do appreciate your support, your comments. All of that helps with the algorithm because it helps not just me, not just you, but everybody, because it gets the information out. And the more of us talking about this stuff, the better, because then we can open our eyes and see things clearly and have critical thinking and actually be true free thinkers. I really appreciate that. I think the world needs more of that. So please do comment, like, share, subscribe, all of those things, because it helps all of us. It really does. And thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, I hope if I missed any comments, then come back and leave it again if you'd like, because they're disappearing after I upload the video from the live stream, and I don't know why that's happening. I reached out to YouTube support. If anyone can give me guidance, I've even watched YouTube videos on it. My comments are turned on, so I have no idea why they're disappearing. So a little suspect. So I'm not sure what's happening there. But so much love to you guys. I appreciate you and have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Bye.